everyone, and welcome back to Talk Wordy, my hub for all of the words that I read, write, or otherwise want to yap about. Today, I have a very special author guest on the pod. They are the USA Today best-selling author of over 20 romance books with high heat and heart-wrenching plot, including her Salacious Players Club series. Her latest release, Promise Me, is out now. Please welcome Sara Cate to the show. Sara, welcome to Talk Wordy.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
I have been looking forward to this for a while. Also, can we talk about the fact that you have so many stinking books? What an amazing career. Mm,
I know I am
dude.
so blessed and so happy to just be here and get to do this for a living. It's amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Before we get into talking about you, though, what I like to do with my guests is we like to talk about what we are reading, watching, and listening to. So I'll go first. Reading wise, I am going to Love LitCon in a couple weeks.
Oh, how
So I've been
exciting.
catching up on some of the authors that I'll get to meet and interview while I'm there. So I'm in the middle of 30, Flirty, and Forever Alone by Christine Riccio.
Oh,
I love her, and I've been in such a rom-com mood. I think it's just like the New Year optimism in me.
I
And then
love
I've been audiobooking Direbound by Sable Sorensen for my book club.
that. That
Yeah.
sounds so
What
fun.
about you? What have you been reading?
I am currently reading the Necessary Evil series by Only James. It's an MM, like a dark romance series, and I'm on book 4 of 7, and I love a good interconnected standalone series where I can just it just becomes a comfort, and so I'm enjoying it very much.
Yeah, I've noticed with interconnected standalone series, because they are also standalones, it feels low stakes enough to where even if I dip out, I'm going to want to read it more.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
traditional series, sometimes there's that pressure of I have to finish this now or I'm not going to
Yeah.
remember anything. So that's so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. It's
Watching
very cool.
wise, oh my gosh, watching wise, I've been so deep in the traders. Oh,
I
it's
feel so
so
out of the loop. I need to watch that. I keep hearing about it.
I just got into it maybe like a week or so ago. And the next season that they're doing, you don't have to be a celebrity to go on the show. So, did I send in an application? Absolutely, I did.
That's so fun. Yeah, I keep hearing everybody's telling me about like you have to watch Traders, and I'm like, okay, I'm not a big TV watcher. I don't like, have a lot of free time to watch TV. So sadly, like I'm still in my heated rivalry phase. Like it's just
So
gonna
good.
it's lasting. And I just did like a full series rewatch like last week. And so I'm just hanging out here, I guess. It's fine.
No, I love it. It's funny that it came out, what, like a month ago, 2 months ago?
It it feels like it's been a lifetime.
I know. And mine for you page is littered with edits. And the crazy thing is, something about the heated rivalry fandom, there has never been a bad heated rivalry edit ever.
Never.
At least none that I've come across. And I mean, cinematic gold.
Yes.
Also, I'm starting to realize that like non-US media is just way better. I mean, can because the series is from Canada.
Yeah.
Um, but I also love like South Korean shows and like K-dramas and stuff.
Turkish dramas are so good too. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not afraid.
Emphatic head nod. It's a lot of the non-US media. Spain, a lot comes out of Spain that's so good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not scared of a show or a movie with subtitles. If it's quality, I'm gonna watch it. So, and then listening wise, like I said, I'm audiobooking Direbound, but I've been in such an Elton John mood. Again, New Year's optimism, apparently. I've been
That.
like, Don't Go Breaking My Heart and Benny and the Jets and all the fun songs. I love a good like dreary Elton John
I
tune,
love
but
Elton
I'm giving me
John.
like joyful bag right now.
Yeah, I love Elton John. I am listening to I've been listening to Olivia Dean's new album. She just won the Grammy for Best New Artist. And speaking of just like music that feels good and makes you feel good and like just makes it's so nice in like a really an intense world where everything just feels so heavy to have music that just kind of like lightens you up a little bit.
I listen to her music and I genuinely feel like I'm floating on air.
Yeah, it's so good.
She and
Yeah.
like Leve to me
Yeah.
were kind of adjacent in that way, that kind of
Mhm.
jazzy
Oh my
the
gosh.
pop.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I love these picks. They're one. Okay. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's talk about you and your books. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Okay. So obviously you have a new book that's out.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Tell our listeners a little bit about Promise Me.
So, Promise Me is book two in the Sinful Manner series. So, speaking of interconnected standalones, these really are interconnected in the way that, like, you could just pick up Promise Me, um, and dive right into that story. The connecting factor between the books is that they're brothers, and that every book takes place at this manor that they've inherited. So, each story is very, individual in its own. Promise Me is about Declan Barkley. He's the second brother, and he meets his best friend in college, who is Colin Shelby. And over their 4 years at university, they grow very close. And right before they graduate, things take a turn and cross a line. And so they make a promise to see each other every summer for 7 years. And in those little meetups, you can imagine the things that happen until they have a little break, a little falling apart. And in the present day story, Colin shows up at the manor ready to marry someone else. And so Declan only has 7 days to win him back. So.
Ah, I love, like, is cheating wrong? Yes. On the moral level, but like it's fiction. I don't care. I love a break, like a pact to try and break a couple up.
Yes.
It, I will eat it up every time. And again, I feel like MM is on the rise, like a
Yeah.
lot more, especially with Heated Rivalry coming out. So I think if you are still in your Heated Rivalry phase, this is the book that you're going to want to pick.
Yeah, there is a lot of yearning. It's a long timeline. I couldn't have planned this timing better myself, honestly.
No.
But yeah, it's a long timeline, lots of yearning, lots of angst. Just a lot of like screaming at them to just get it together, figure it out. So.
Yeah. Um, as I was doing my pre-interview investigation on you, as one does, first of all, obsessed with your Instagram. I love a curated feed. Oh my God. But there was a post you made, I think like a month ago, that really stuck out to me because you spoke about how Keep Me, the first book of the series, was the book that existed when all the expectations and rules were taken away, but that Promise Me has now replaced it as your favorite book. What is it like? What is the magic of this book that like really sets it apart from the rest for you?
Yeah, so little like history backstory. So when I released the Salacious Players Club, it obviously did really well. It kind of became what I was known for. And I love writing that series. And I'm revisiting it with the second generation series. And I love that, but it sometimes feels like a lot of pressure to constantly, have a lot of kink in my books and write in that world and write that certain way. And so when my publisher sort of gave me some free rein with this series and said, like, just write what's in your heart, like write what you want, um, I was able to kind of just like push away all of those, rules and all the pressure that I felt from, that series and trying to kind of recreate that series. And so I will say the Sinful Manor series, they're Scottish brothers. It is very like it's very emotional forward. It's very heart forward. It's much more like romance heavy. It still has the kink in it, especially Promise Me. It does have, quite a bit. But it's mostly just focused on the characters, their growth, and their romance. So Promise Me became quickly one of my favorites. And I think because I got to kind of like marry those two worlds. Like I said, there is like a dom sub. They get to explore this together. But it was just me getting to write like free reign, like this romance that was so like encompassing. It just took over. And I try to remember my process of writing, like where did I come up with the idea? Or like how was I feeling when I wrote it? And I sometimes think I might have like just blacked out because I it was just there. It just was like born. And so yeah, it's really special to me that it 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 represents everything that I love about romance. Like it is really sexy and it's really exciting to read, but also like some of these scenes are just gonna like tear your heart out with the promise that like everything will be okay in the end.
I like a little angst. I like to have my heart stepped on,
Me
especially if there's
too.
a promise of a happily ever after. I'm in for it.
Yes,
I will be okay.
exactly.
I'll find you. Without spoiling too much, do you have a favorite scene from this book?
I have a lot of favorite scenes. There is, I won't spoil anything, but there is a scene maybe about two-thirds of the way through, and it's in the present day scene, and it's where Colin discovers something in this chest that Declan has. And I won't say what it is, and I know that might sound like morbid or creepy, but it's very romantic that Declan has something in this chest that Colin finds, and it's a very romantic, very like heart-wrenching moment.
I love a discovery. Oh my gosh. It's like, has it really been all this time? And it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
of course it has. Can readers expect more from this series? Obviously, it's two right now. I know duologies are hot, but I take it there's going to be more, maybe?
Uh, Always, I think you can always expect that with me. I don't know how to write small series. Yeah, so there are three brothers and a sister, and so I'm actually working on Sinful Manor book 3 right now, and I'm not gonna say who it's about or anything about it, but yeah, we can expect more from the Sinful Manor family.
Oh, yes. Okay, wonderful. Also, totally a personal question that I'm dying to ask because I'm such a music dork. What were some of your, first of all, did you have a writing playlist? Some people don't like music when they write, but what were some of your like most replayed songs on the writing playlist for Promise Me? I'm dying to know.
Oh man, that's so good. I do have playlists. I don't listen to them while I'm writing, but I love to make a playlist for a book and I'll just listen to it while I'm in the car or wherever around the time that I'm writing, just to kind of put me in the mood. For Promise Me, I'm a big Hosier fan. I always have Hosier on my playlist because his music gives me that like angst and yearning that I want so bad. Um, oh man, there was like anything that just kind of ripped my heart out. Um, there's a new song that I keep hearing. It's called Die on This Hill by Sierra Spino. I kept hearing it, or Spine. I'm probably saying that wrong, but I kept hearing it on TikTok. And so I went and found it and I played it, and it's heart-wrenching. And I almost want to tell readers, like, do not listen to this song while you're reading this book because it'll break your heart. But like, it's very much, this, the unrequited love feel, and which is from Colin's perspective of somebody who's like been in love with his best friend for 15 years and can't get him to commit. Like listening to that song and reading this book at the same time, it's like brutal. It'll hurt. So,
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't even think that's a great song, by the way. I
So good.
something about TikTok, call it annoying, call it,
They
fruitless,
get the music
whatever.
right.
They know how to they make the right songs famous.
So true. So true. Yeah.
Like I learned about Mother Mother from
Mhm.
TikTok and oh my gosh, bangers, all of them. But yeah, that song is really, really
So
got me.
good. Yeah.
But knowing that it fits into the plot, I've got some material to get working on. um, Something else about your author career that I just think is so fascinating, again, with how many books you have, you also have a ton of audiobooks. Um,
Mhm.
and they were so well produced. A lot of them are duet narration. I'm curious about the author side of the audiobook process. Like, how involved are you? Do you get to recommend narrators? Like, how does that look for you?
Yeah, it's different with every book or every series, depending on how it's getting produced, and it's definitely different for every author. For me, I am very hands-on with my audio. I like having a say in who the narrators are. And so, especially for Promise Me, um, I was the one who got to pick the narrators. We used Will Watt because he also did Keep Me. And I don't know, I'm sure there are amazing Scottish narrators out there, but for me, no one does it like Will Watt. And so I knew that I wanted him back for this. I'll have him for the whole series because his Scottish is amazing. So, um, I'm always very hands-on with it. With some of my other series, I'm literally the one who's doing the casting and the producing. Um, so I'm, you know, it's probably one of the easiest parts of my job is that I get to go listen to a bunch of audiobooks and be like, who is great for this part? And I love picking narrators before I start writing because then I can literally like hear them in my head while I'm writing the part, which is so fun. So yeah, it's great and it's great to get to collaborate with them and working with the same ones over and over, getting to know them. It feels like two worlds colliding in a lot of ways. So yeah, I love being a part of that.
That's so awesome. It almost is like the inverse of what we hear about authors when they have like film adaptations, because it's like, oh, I'm a little bit more removed, or
Yeah.
sometimes like they might have like a producer role. But
Yeah.
this, it's almost like you're the casting director. You know exactly how this is going to be orchestrated. I think that's so awesome.
Yeah. It's very fun.
Kudos to you. Also, I too, if I like, it's like going to your favorite restaurant. You don't need the menu. You know
No,
exactly what
no.
you want, and you're fine with having it over and over again. And especially with like a Scottish accent, I can't even imagine. I got to start reading the book in advance on like an e-copy, but
Mhm.
dear Lord, if I ended up having access to the audiobook, I think I would lose my mind.
It's so good. And like the way that he says certain phrases, I'm like, it scratches an itch in my brain I didn't know I had. Like it's so good. And then Shane East is in it as well, who is also I mean, when it comes to English accents and romance is sort of like the cream of the crop. I mean, they're amazing. And so we chose to do this one duet, and I kind of was the one to push for it because I just knew that getting to hear their back and forth, their banter was going to be amazing.
Yeah. Ah, that's so cool. Okay. Now for any of my fellow nosy audience members, because I am one of you. I'm so nosy when it comes to like interacting with authors that I've like been eyeing for a long time. For a lot of us newbie authors too, I wanted to ask some questions just about your your roots, your author origin story. So I'm curious, what made you first decide like I want to be a writer, or if not a writer, it's like I want to write this story. How did that transpire for you?
So I always had a drive to be a storyteller. I don't know where it came from. Growing up, I always knew that was my place. I played around with how that was going to look. I used to want to be a filmmaker. I almost went to film school. I'm glad I didn't. I think looking back, there was a part of me that was like, you know, oh man, this is the broken road, like I was supposed to be a filmmaker. And I'm like, no, I think that happened for a reason. Because writing has always been such an easy outlet for me. I was a stay-at-home mom. I had kids. I didn't, have access to a lot of things. And so it was it was the ultimate outlet. And so um, finding my way to romance was a bit of a longer journey, I'll say, because when you kind of decide you want to be a writer and you don't really know what that looks like or what form of writing you want to do, you kind of play around with things. And it took a while. I think I think I was a little like nervous to write romance, which is I know funny coming from me because it seems like, oh, she's not scared to write anything. She'll write anything. But there was a time when I was a little nervous about it and wasn't quite sure, like how my family would receive it. And eventually got over that. And now here I am. I know that I started doing it on my own, and then my career got to a point where I had to tell my mother, and like I was like, "Well, you're gonna have to know now because this is not my full-time job." So, and she's been great. She doesn't read any of them, and if she does, she knows that we don't need to talk about it.
Yeah.
So she's very proud of me and very supportive of my career, and that's all been great. So yeah, I think it was a lot of me. It was a lot of mental me. Like I was just holding myself back. And this was, I mean, well over 10, 12 years ago. So it's been a while.
And what a good problem to have to be like, yeah, my career is soaring to new heights to the point where I have to tell you that
I have to tell you. Yeah, right?
when it comes to how you write, are you more of like a plotter or a pantser, or does it depend on the book that you're writing?
It really depends on the book. I like to consider myself a plotter. I love the process of plotting, or at least I used to. I mean, you can literally see my murder board behind me. So it really depends. It's funny because I joke that like every time I sit down to write a book, I pull out all of these like craft books that I have, and I have to teach myself how to write a novel every single time. So sometimes the story is coming to me in like little moments that I just jot on my phone and then I work them in as I go. Sometimes if it's a plot that maybe has a strong like timeline or they're on a road trip or they're, working on something that I need structure to it. Promise Me was a really good example of this because it's dual timeline and they're interwoven. And so there's like 7 days left in the present day and it's 15 years ago. And so every other chapter is like a different year and a different day. And so you have to know how to like work those in together. It took a lot of orchestrating on my part before I started writing. And yeah, so now it kind of just depends. Most of the time I go with the vibes and I try to work out as much of a plot as I can as I go, but I'm mostly a character writer, so I try to focus mostly on the character and their profile and like their wants and their needs and their wounds and their flaws and all that stuff.
Yeah. Circling back to, you mentioned that you kind of teach yourself how to write a book every time that you start a new one. Do you have any personal recommendations on books about craft?
I always have Save the Cat like right here. Look, you can see all the tabbies. Save the Cat for me. It is a technically a plotting book, but I think it really teaches you the fundamentals of like character growth and story structure. And I like the first 25% is really all you have to read. The rest is kind of like just examples. So I literally reread it every single time just so I can sit there and jot down like, okay, what does this idiot character think he knows? Oh, he's wrong. What does he got to learn? And then I just do it that way, and then that usually guides the story.
I love Save the Cat. Ugh, I
Yeah.
live and die by Save the Cat. I will say I'm I have On Writing by Stephen King in
Yeah.
TBR. I've had the book on my shelf for years. I need to go read it. I need to actually sit down and read it. And then gosh, what's another one that's been popping up? Oh, Romancing the Beat.
Oh,
Uh,
I have that one. Yeah.
my writers group has been telling me about it. And I'm like, "Mhm, I do write romance. Maybe I should go check it out." Um,
Yeah, that one's great. I mean, again, it's like very simple, and I use a romancing the beat like template usually when I'm because I gotta have the romance beats in there, and
yeah,
it hits every time. Yeah.
every time without fail. Okay,
Mhm.
to conclude the episode, because of how many books you have, thought we would play a quick game of book superlatives. It's like a new take on a lightning round.
Love
Uh,
it.
so what I'll do is I'll give you like a bookish superlative, and you don't have to think too hard, but I'm curious what book you would slate into that superlative. And also, if you repeat, you're totally fine. You don't need to you don't need to be like, "Oh, I've said that already." They can have multiple if you want.
Yeah.
Okay. So, best banter.
Best banter. I'm gonna say Keep Me, which is the first book in the Simple Manner because it was like grumpy, grumpy, and both the male and the female had such fiery personalities that they really kind of gave it to each other a lot. It was fun.
Ooh, yes. Okay, amazing. Listen, I love Grumpy Sunshine. Grumpy, grumpy. Most likely to make you laugh.
Most likely to make you laugh. I'm gonna say so the next book in my Salacious Legacy series is called The Rule of Three, and they were pretty funny together, and I loved their banter. And so that's an MMF, so there's three of them, and so there was a lot of good laughs in there.
Okay, inverse, most likely to make you cry.
Definitely The Prodigal Son. That's the fourth book in my Good Brother series. It's about the youngest brother, Isaac Good. And it's a tough one. It's good, but it's tough.
Okay, longest book to finish writing.
Longest book to finish writing, probably The Good Girl Effect. The first book in my Legacy series. I think returning to that world. I had to rewrite that book like three times. It was a struggle. Going back to the whole pressure thing I was talking about earlier, of just feeling like you don't mess this up. You better make it good. It was a little rough for me, so I had to rewrite that book a few times.
Ooh, I'd be
Yeah.
sweating. Oh my God. I had to do like hardcore edits on one book and it was just one round and I was beat. So
Yeah, it's not
props
a
to
fun
you for
process.
getting through that. Your biggest book, like actual like length of the book.
Longest. That would be The Home Wrecker, which is the second book in the Good Brothers series. And it's also an MMF. So my MMFs are always the longest because there's three characters.
Yeah,
So you got
you've
to
got
get
more to flesh out.
more. Yeah, more to flesh out. Exactly. And so that one was kind of a long one.
Okay, and then your shortest book.
My shortest book. I have a short book called Handsome Devil, which was just it's a best friend's dad, and they go on a road trip, and it was very spicy and cute, and I love that one.
I'm slowly like really starting to enjoy like a single dad, but like older, like age gap single dad or like a best friend
Yeah.
dad trope. It took me a while to get into, but like now I see the vision. Now I think my brain finally is fully developed. I'm like, ooh,
Oh.
more of this, please. Your go-to Sarah Kate recommendation.
I would say Praise. That's the first book in the Salacious Players Club. It sort of opens the door to everything.
Okay. I'm so sad that I'm making you pick favorites, but what would you say is your prettiest cover?
Oh my gosh. So I do a lot of special editions, and the special edition oh, see, I have it right here. I know we're not supposed to say special editions, but I mean, it's so pretty. And so it's like that clinch cover.
Mm.
Yeah, it's on my website. So that's the anti-hero. That's the special editions that we did. They're so
Are those
pretty.
like metallic sprayed edges?
Yeah.
They're gorgeous. Also, I fiend over an illustrated cover these days. I love
Yeah.
typography. Do not get me wrong, but sometimes an illustrated with like the right artist, it just hits.
So
I love
good.
it. And then favorite ending.
Oh my gosh, my favorite ending. That's tough.
I know because you can't explain why,
I
but
know. I'm gonna say Madam, which is the last book in my Salacious Players Club, because it was like the culmination of all of the books, and there was like a moment that like called back to the beginning of the series, and so it was just a big circle, and everybody cried, and it was great. So yeah.
incredible. Sarah, this has been so much fun. Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
coming on the show. Before I actually close out the episode, tell our listeners where they can find you, social media, website,
Yeah.
good stuff.
So you mentioned earlier I am on Instagram. That is kind of the place where I hang out. So that is Sarah Kate, but at Sarah Kate Books. And then I also have a website, which is sarahkatebooks.com, which has all the information and everything you need to find me. So yeah.
Awesome. Oh my gosh, I had so much fun. And you guys, I need now that it's out, I need you to go pick up Promise Me. Again, heated rivalry fans, Love it. It literally, every time you were talking about like the Scottish accent, I'm like, okay, so Ilya Rozanoff is just Scottish
So,
now.
yeah. Basically.
Also, a manner setting. I'm sorry. I love a closed setting. It just makes the tension so hot. Oh my gosh. I can't even like keep my composure right now. I'm just so excited. You guys are going to love it. Thank you again so much for coming on the show. And thank you to everyone who has been tuning in. And until next time, I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you.